welcome back. And these are interesting times. Interesting times for the colorful Dino Melaye, because it appears that he will be tested with the laws of the land and tested also with the Constitution. Will maybe become the first lawmaker to be recalled, or become another lawmaker who escaped the hammer. But as it stands, the Kogi West electorate decided to go sign up documents saying that they were no longer impressed with his services and wanted him out. A recall is what they're trying to achieve. 10 steps, we understand, according to Section 69 of 1999 Constitution. The first step is to get all those signatures, get them lined up according to constituency, the wards, and all the areas. You get everything all lined up and then signed, and then has to be 50% plus one, and that has been achieved according to the returning officer for that exercise. And then that document forwarded over to INEC, and INEC will notify Dino Melaye saying that this is what we have, and then the process will go on and on. Of course, the final step will be, if those found successful, President of the Senate will then hand over a recall notice to Dino Melaye, and that will be it. But let's look at what it means to have a legislator recall. A lot of people have been asking me, is it possible or not? With us this morning, we have a former treasurer of the Nigeria Bar Association, Joyce Oduah. It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning. I can see you're grinning and thinking what to make of all of this drama. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
We have a situation where the process has already started, and it's, for a lot of people, we haven't seen it even go this far for many lawmakers, so it's not looking good for Dino. But what are the chances of us going through the 10 steps, even though we're at the second stage right now, and completing it? What are the chances?
The fact is that first, let's start by what is a recall. A recall is actually when the registered voters in a constituency come together, and it must be more than 50% of that. And they will sign, you understand, a petition calling him back. And this will also terminate his tenure. Whoever it's been, called back, it will terminate the tenure. The Constitution has 4 years for that. So if that happens to him, if it goes through the procedures, that means he will be called back. So that is recall for you. But what I'm trying to say, the process is actually found in the Constitution, 1999 Constitution, Section 69, just like you said. And also we have the INEC Act, Independent National Electoral Commission Act. And in that Act, Section 4 has the guideline on how to recall. So what you find out now is what they have done is actually collating. But the law says, I'm going to give you the step, how it comes about. First, 50% must write, sign, and send the petition to the chairman of INEC. That is the position of the law. After that, after signing and sending to the chairman of INEC.
That's where we are right now.
Yes, that's where we are you sure they have even sent it?
To INEC.
Have you sure they have sent it? They have not even sent it to INEC. So they have not even started. What they have done actually is maybe what they are saying, collating. They have not sent it to INEC. So INEC, I will say, is not even aware of that for now. So that is one. Number two, what will happen next is that they will now arrange the signatories. You have to sign it. They will now arrange the signatories according to, one, the polling unit, the ward. After the ward, you move to the local government areas. From the local government areas, you now move to the constituency. That is the second step. So they have not even done first, they have not even done second. And it's almost like a long hop to go. You find out that it's not an easy process. Maybe they did that to be able to hold back some things. So the next step after that, that is when INEC will now inform whichever legislator, I don't want to mention somebody's name now, that is want to be recalled back home. They will now inform the person. And once they do that, the next step that they will do, which is like almost the fourth step, what they will do is to now send a public notice or an announcement, informing the people, come, now that you said you have signed, we want to verify. We will meet at a particular center at your constituency. They will give them the address. They will give them the time and tell them that they will be with them. You understand what I mean? So that is the next step. And after then, they will now come for verification. And what do we mean by verification? Verification actually means that, the voters register, you have a signature. So you now have to come. Even if they said they have collected so many, what they need to now do, they will now check. Is this signature tally? Was it gotten by fraud or whatever way? So they will now check. So if they now check and they find out that they have enough, that is 50 plus 1 or 1/2 of the total registered members, voters in that constituency, they will now ask. You understand? When they now find out about that, they will now tell them, okay, they will write to the petitioners, you have still some things to do. We can now go on. But if not, that is where it dies a natural death, because they will now dismiss it because they have not met the constitutional provision of our 99 Constitution. So it will die a natural death. But if it continues, if they succeed, if they have more than 52 or 50 plus 1 verified, that now calls for a referendum. And the referendum this time, what happens? They will now tell them that they have to vote. That is the members there. So it's now going to be a yes or no vote. That is what it is. A yes or no vote. So when they now go for the vote again, but this time it's not the case of 50%, it's just a simple majority. Simple majority. So which means if you have maybe, okay, we're about 200,000 and we're able to verify maybe 150,000. So maybe if we have maybe 110, then that's simple majority. He has to go. The legislator has to go. And what that means is that they will now, INEC will now send what they call a certificate of recall to the Senate President, if it's the Senate, or the Speaker, if it's the House of Rep. So we'll now send it to them. So that is where they will now call the Senator or the member of the House and show him the way out of the National Assembly.
This is interesting times in Nigerian politics. You look at the uninterrupted governance we've had from 1999 till date. We've had, this is the 8th National Assembly. Yet, if we go through the literature, I'm sure you'll find out that we haven't had a lawmaker ever recalled. What do you think? People have said this process itself, it's a complex process, so most of the electorate would rather wait on the 4 years when they will have to vote to get any lawmaker they had disagreements with or didn't feel they were satisfied with to get the lawmaker out. But the recall process is an interesting process like you've laid out here. Why do you think this hasn't really been tested or tried in the 16 years we've had this democracy?
It has not been really tested or tried because, like I said, the process is very complex. Like, look at what is happening now. Noise everywhere, but they have not even gone anywhere. They have not even done, and this has to be done within 90 days. If the petition, once you send in the petition, the referendum has to be done within 90 days. So if they submit it and they are not ready, nothing is done within that time, it cannot continue. And you find out that in Nigeria, we have what we call sentiments. So some people might just say, let me just leave the person there. When the person gets to the time, the person will move out. Maybe that is why we have not really had one. Like in America, it has been there for years, but they don't even have it in their constitution. They don't have a recall in their constitution. So there's no way, you know, most of the time we like looking at what is happening outside our own jurisdiction to know what to do. So like now maybe everybody's looking. But the fact is that I will really say the truth is that people, the voters, the electorate, the registered voters, they don't really know their rights. But now there is an awareness created.
Yeah, that's why I want to come to the power of the electorate at this point. Now, it doesn't just stop here, as you've rolled out the process to us. The electorate still has a lot of work to perform before they get that lawmaker out. But does the electorate understand the process and what it takes? We have a short attention span in Nigeria. So it's starting out now, people have voted. But when it comes to verification, will these same people still be there? And then when you're talking about the power of the electorate as well, why do we have to go through this long process in getting a lawmaker out? Do you think if it were simpler, the Nigerian electorate would have come to an understanding of how powerful they are earlier?
No, I don't think it should have been simpler. It should have been better. I think it's better this way, because it means that for you to get the person out, you must have seen that the person is not really doing well, and everybody in the constituency would have seen that. Because if you make it simple, which means anybody can just wake up in a day and just recall you, so you know that they give the legislators or the reps, whatever, they gave them their mandate. So it's their mandate they are holding on to. So before they will withdraw that mandate, there must be something very serious on ground before they will withdraw the mandate.
How serious is serious?
How serious is serious?
So
Yeah, it depends.
Reason for calling back.
Really, reason for calling back actually is just loss of confidence. So it's subjective. It can be me. My own reason might be different from yours. But the fact is that it's quite a tedious one. And I believe, like Nigerians, that we are happy people. We don't really bother other people. We try not to.
You know, I've been watching the news recently. I see that a number of senators, House of Reps members also too, have been to their constituency in the last couple of weeks to have consultations with the people. I guess what the British will call the clinic, sort of build confidence in the people and say, this is what I've been doing, and this is how we've gone in the last couple of months or years. Different strokes for different folks. Some of the lawmakers couldn't get into their constituency because they had protesting youths. Others were received warmly, you know. But tell me, during this period of a recall, what happens to the lawmaker involved? It does appear that he's left in the dark about his fate or his fortunes. Does he still? People have asked, does he still continue while he's there, or does he take a break? What goes on?
Yes, he has to continue while he's there. The truth is this. Like when we're going through the laws, we just looked at it. These people, they petitioned against them. If they petition against the legislator, he doesn't have a right of reply. He can't even say, okay, the petition, it's not, I didn't do what they said. So there's nothing like that. So he doesn't have a right of reply, of even exonerating himself from whatever. But the fact is this. We, the people, we have the right to do what we want to do. Since they gave them the mandate, they have the right to recall them. But like I would say, you can't just, they won't stop. They will still be in the house. Remember the last step, because you still have 10 steps to go through. If not even more than that, you have those steps to go through. You have to follow it to the end before they are being recalled. You cannot recall them. You can't tell them, okay, you are suspended, you're this, because nobody knows. Let everything go from the beginning to the end, and once it's ready, he's given the certificate of recall and is out of the house.
Talking about the man Dino Melaye himself, he's been a very controversial figure, and he's been somebody who's been very vocal about a number of issues. Take for when the EFCC chair was before the House and all of that. It's hard for you to see or to hear of this assembly without thinking of Dino Melaye. Now, this also brings to question the expectations of the electorate for our lawmakers. What do you think Nigerian expectation is? The expectation of the electorate is? Because we've seen lawmakers over the years who've complained, like last assembly, they were paid so much, yet the bills that passed were so little. We have a man like Dino who is going out there to defend himself, saying that he's put forward the most bills in the House. So he's a very active lawmaker. So what do you think are the expectations of the Nigerian electorate?
The expectation of the Nigerian electorate from a is huge. You find out that most of the time, it's sad. It doesn't make one happy the way the legislators conduct themselves at times in the House. You find out that most of them, they have what they call constituency votes. They don't apply it. I might not know, but I've seen some constituency, the people will complain that they have not applied this constituency vote because it's supposed to bring development to the constituency, that they have not done that. And most of the time you look at them, even on television, when they are having their proceedings, you find these people in the House of Senate. You have 109 senators. And in the House of Rep, you have approximately 360 members of the House. And you find out that when they are conducting proceedings and you're watching it live, what do you see? You find out that the hall is empty. Where are the other people? They're not even serious. Sorry to say that. They're not taking the job seriously. And I know there are some people, as some people say, they have not even said one thing or even brought up one bill. You understand? They are not even protecting or helping their constituency. So a lot is needed from them. They have to put their acts together and know that they are representing or carrying out the mandate of some people. And thank God for his mercies that these days the eyes of the people are open. So all of them have to sit up, or else one day what we are thinking that is a joke today will surely come to pass.
Let's talk about the relationship between the executive and the National Assembly. Executive in this sense sometimes will be the state executive. I know the House of Reps will be for the local government and the constituencies, protecting the interest of the local government people or the constituencies as they have been defined. But I know the Senate most definitely will be for the state. So you have the state more with the Senate. There have been talk in the past that you've had frosty relationships sometimes between the Senate representing a state and the governor of that state. Where do the lines get crossed, or where does the governor, for example, say, Mr. Senator, this is where you can't go beyond this point? What sort of relationship should they have?
You know, actually, the three arms of government is actually for check and balance. They have to check themselves. So the executive, they have their own role. The legislature, they have their own role. The judiciary, they have their own role. So what it means is that everybody, the Constitution has defined what the executive should do, what the legislatures should do, and what the judiciary should do. So I believe that everybody should mind theirs, but there must be a check. When the executive, they are going out of hands, like the governors or whoever is on that seat, the legislature should be able to check them. And also when it comes to the legislature, when there is a problem or something like that, you go to the court. And when you go to the court, that is when the judiciary also check them. So you find out there's this check and balance. And I believe that when it's played very well, it will really help our democracy.
So the senator can be out of order if he told the state governor or the state he represents, you're not doing things according to what I think you should be doing. Will he be out of order if he did that?
No, it's not out of order. If he tells him, that is the check that we're talking about. So he's trying to put him in check, that come, what you're doing is not right. We want you to do it this way. This is how it should go. But if the governor also looks at it, that maybe this other man is biased, is not telling him the way it's supposed to be, he can just say, no, I'm not going to do that. I believe that what I'm doing is the right thing. Also, just like you were put there by your people, I was also given a mandate by my own people.
Talking about what you think that the embattled lawmaker should be up to at this point. Of course, even though they're in recess right now, the House will still be sitting and all of that. What are the expectations from him, knowing that at this point your people want you out? How much work do you think can get carried out at this point?
Oh, at this point, the person will not sleep. Will also be working. As the other people are
working. Is it easy to work knowing that your people actually want you out? Is it?
It depends. You know, human being, like I said, you can easily, when you talk to people and say, please, I'm sorry, I did bad, but I believe I will change. I just feel so.
That could influence the process.
That can influence some people, and that will make, if at all, maybe it was verified, and the verification brought in about if we have 100 registered voters or 1,000, let me say 200, let me use 200,000, let's be realistic a bit, 200,000 registered voters, and then 115 verified, which means it's good to go. And the referendum is going to come. And I talked to about 25 people, and the 25 people agree. When you go for the election, you won't have a simple majority again, so you have lost. So he will still be working. He still has some time to work wherever he is.
So we're touching the different actors in this entire drama of legislators recall. What role does judiciary really play? Because I've been trying to find out the judiciary role.
Yeah, that's very interesting because, like I said, first, they don't have a right of reply. They don't even have anything. And I didn't see anything in the law that shows that if they are recalled, they can go to court. Except maybe they just want to test the law and just go to court. You have the right to test the law. You have the right to file your papers. Go to court, test it. If the court says no, you go. If the court says that, okay, we can create our own law from here, beautiful, that can continue. But from the law that we have, there was no place that I saw, even in the Constitution and the guideline of INEC, that says that
this process cannot be stopped.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think that the many troubles that we saw him embroiled in, from the certificates and then his manner of approach to issues, do you think that contributed to the recall that we saw by his constituents?
Concerning that of Dino Melaye, yeah, I won't say that. I can't really say that. But, you know, like I said, everybody have their own way of behaving. Maybe that is his own lifestyle. He's the loud. Maybe he's the loud type. Some people are very quiet, do their things their own way. So I don't really know. Maybe that the people said they have lost confidence in him. So I don't know. You know, like I said, it's just losing of confidence. Nobody says it was because of this or because of that, or whether he stole or not, or whether he's not doing well. But just they have lost confidence in him. That's what they said. So I can't really place that now.
All right, so we're bringing the discussion to a close, and we're looking at what lessons we can learn also too from this, because I'm sure the entire democratic experience so far for this country has been a learning curve. So tell me, what would you say are lessons to be drawn from this we can improve on the system, or do you think what we have is just adequate?
What I feel is this, that this has now really opened the eyes of people. That's what we have learned from this, that they have the rights. They voted these people in, they can withdraw them, they can recall them. And apart from that, it will now make the legislators also so sit up and know that, come, this is not for my own profit. This is for me working for my people. And this is what we want them to do. Work for your people, move the nation forward, and Nigeria will be greater than what it is now.
Thank you very much. Leave it at that. Thank you very much, Joyce Oduah, former National Treasurer, Nigeria Bar Association. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Process of legislators recall the discussion we're having this morning on the sidelines of Senator representing Kogi West, Dino Melaye. Recently, his constituents decided to begin the process of recall. Still a long way to go, like we found out. Stage 1, they're still at 10, is where is the finish point. But we'll keep our eyes on this. I'll keep our fingers on this to see where it goes. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And this is where we wrap it on the show today. I want to thank you for your time with us this morning. See you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.
Bye-bye.